We're going to talk a little bit about the second most used page, why it's so important, because it helps convert, and how to use case stories to improve the performance of the second most used page on your website. Well, what is the second most used page? Well, the way we found this out was years ago. We had clients saying, well, we're getting great leads, but they're not converting. And we went and looked at their website. We found tons of people going to the About Us page. That's probably the page you click on the most, right? When we look at tab, we want to see who this person is. And if you think about someone's journey, right? They've checked out your online reputation. They're like, oh, so people are telling great. They understand that you understand their problem. They understand that you've helped someone like them. You understand that they've gotten an outcome like they want. They maybe hit your process page and say, hey, this is how this works. Now I want to trust you. I want to like you. I want to know more about you as a person. Here's what they really want to know is how you're specifically line up with them. And so the About Us is a great place to tell stories that line up with their stories. So imagine that you're at a cocktail party and you want to tell a story. If you just go, ramble on about your school and your education, all your amazing awards, right? What's going to happen? You're going to bore the hell out of people. And guess what? If you don't know who that person is at a cocktail party, now I know we're getting back to cocktail parties at this point. Maybe some of you haven't been to one in a long time. Maybe some of you are too young for them. Maybe some of you are antisocial, like I can be. But if you're out with anyone and you're telling that story in that way, you're boring people. And if you don't know who that person is, who bores people, well, you might be that person. The best way to tell someone your story is make it about them. I know you like this. I know you like that. The best person to tell your story is your customers and your team. So having case stories of your customers talking about working with you. Now this becomes more testimonial, but still a story, right? You want to tell those stories of maybe the first time they met you or some way, we've got great client stories of just, how people have helped them and specific stories about working with you and your value propositions and identifying your value propositions. And this becomes a little more testimonial-y, but it's still a story. In general, testimonials aren't a story, but we want to find those stories. We want to find those moments and emotions and put those on your About Us page. And what you'll find is people will reiterate those to you. This is a great place to have closer to people saying how great you are than your testimonials page. No one's going to your testimonials page. No one's going to very few people are going to your success stories page. You might be able to drive people to your case studies page, but that's it. But your About Us page is where you should have case stories, and you should have them from a format and version standpoint. What we have, I would have shorter form 60-second case stories about your specific value propositions. Great customer service stories about that. Great culture stories about that. And then I would have that woven into an About Us video. Have clients and customers talking about that, talking about those things, and having your team on there telling their stories too. Because video case stories should be also team focused. You integrate all of that, and you're going to have multiple versions. Once again, YouTube or / another player. Those would be the two places I'd house it. If you have some client-made content, I might throw that on there too, and just link to like Facebook. Start linking to your other places where people can see you. Link to YouTube, link to Facebook, link to LinkedIn, where people are talking about you. This is another place that you actually should have your reviews too. But all these things put together, right, into a nice long form page will help you to make a super powerful About Us page, because this is the place that people want to go. And if you look at where people go after your About Us page in general, it's going to be your contact page. And we're going to talk about that next.